What's going on? It's Kato with the Wrestling Replay, and I'm bringing you episode number 2 of Let's Talk About It, where we talk about anything in the world of wrestling from the day and prior on. We're not going to talk about everything, but we're going to talk about anything that I want to talk about. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started because it's some things that has come to my attention that I can't wait to talk about. First being, this AEW situation, man. What's going on over there? What's going on, huh? Got a little heat in that, backstage area. What's going on? Now, about December, I believe December the 11th, I'm looking on 411 Mania for anybody who want to go read or catch up on what I'm talking about. JR went on his podcast, and he had talked about pretty much the high-flying spots that wrestlers does. He actually talked about this prior, I believe, on his podcast. If not, it was on an interview or somewhere else. He also talked about it where guys do high spots that he sells because he doesn't like it. So he pretty much leaves it up to his broadcast partner to sell that move for those wrestlers in that match, which is kind of messed up because, we're relying on a broadcast team to actually bring home the moves that's happening inside the ring. But I guess this last little spiel he did really got under some people's skin. And this is what JR said. I'm going to go ahead and read to make sure I'm not misquoting him at all, right? I told the kid the other day at AEW that everybody does the same effing spot. All you guys go outside the ring, you cluster up like coils, you stand there in the huddle, friends and foe together, side by side, and you catch some leaping idiot going over the top who never wins with this move. They are looking for the holy chant. They love to hear, "This is awesome." It's a spot, folks. It's a trapeze act. I don't buy into it. The DDT is a great finish and should be used as such. JR, I'm not gonna lie, man. I agree with a lot of what you said. I agree with it. I also hate when guys, go over the top rope and there's about 6-7 guys outside the ring waiting to catch the guys that's jumping off the top. I hate it because most of the time it looks like you're waiting to be jumped on. It doesn't look realistic. Like, if you was in a real situation, right, in a real fight, and you seen someone ready to throw a punch or loading up a punch, I would think you're going to kind of like move or try to get out the way. Now, a lot of times when the guys are outside the ring and they're waiting for their spot to happen, they're throwing their punches even slower. They're kind of just looking, off to the side, like, all right, did he jump? Is he ready to jump? What is he doing up there? They're kind of just waiting, and they're kind of messing up the spot by doing that. Also, the DDT is a good finishing move. I can't lie. It's a pretty good finishing move. As Jake the Snake, man. It's a pretty good move. You got guys like Dean Ambrose who use a pretty much a version of the DDT as his finishing move. So I hate when certain moves are used in like someone's everyday move set because I feel like it takes away from someone else's finisher. Now let's think about it. Let's say someone like the size of Braun Strowman. I know he's not in the AEW, but I wanted to use someone big, right? Let's say he's using the DDT, and he's only using it pretty much to just put away his opponent or just a regular move to like stagger his opponent, not really finish him off, okay? And then you have somebody like Dean Ambrose who uses a DDT as their finishing move, who is a smaller guy. Whoever that opponent is, right? Why is this DDT finishing you off when you took DDTs from way bigger men? You took DDTs from a Lance Archer or a Brody Lee. Why aren't you able to kick out a Dean Ambrose DDT? Granted, it is a double arm DDT. He kind of try to get you up in the air a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's a similar move. It's a similar move as a regular DDT. So I agree with him there. You have to, I guess, protect certain moves, all right? Certain moves, like the super kick. I love the super kick, right? And I will never miss a Young Bucks super kick party. Sign me up. I'm going to be the first one there to watch this happen. But at the end of the day, I don't want to see super kicks being someone's finisher or signature moves. Yes, it was great when Shawn Michaels did it. Yes, Dolph used it as a good signature move. But for whatever reason, when the Young Bucks do it, it can't put people away. You hit, a double super kick. It doesn't put people away. It's kind of used as their punch. How some people use, signature punches or something like that. They mostly use it as just a regular kick, a regular hit. It doesn't have any weight or any real umph to it. So I agree with him there that we do have to protect certain moves. That's fine. Where do I disagree? First and foremost, I disagree with the fact that you put this out on your podcast. And I believe the second time you put it out on your podcast, because guys are looking to you to sell their moves. They're looking to you for guidance, for being the vet that you are, and just for being Jim Ross, man. Like, they look up to you. Okay, you have a lot of young guys in that AEW locker room. A lot of young guys who actually use high flying moves to get over. That's how they get the crowd, to watch them, and that's their move set. That's the skills that they can do that not too many other people can do inside the business, right? So everyone can't be 6'3", 6'5", 6'7". Everyone can't be a giant, a 7-footer. Everyone's not 350 pounds. It just doesn't work that way. So with a roster like AEW, where it's your first year, these guys are young. These guys aren't as big as other companies and other promotions may have. So I would expect someone like you to pull them to the side and say how they can improve or add to their game to pretty much help them, get over with the crowd or get to the next level, something like that. That's what I would really want from a JR standpoint, and that's what I would really expect him to do. But first and foremost, I disagree with him doing it publicly, because even if he wanted to have a meeting in the locker room, I'm pretty sure all those guys would have showed him enough respect to actually come to a meeting and hear what he's talking about. That's one. Number two, I disagree with the way he said what he said. He doesn't have to be a leaping effing idiot. You know what I mean? Like, not only are you downplaying my moveset and the way I wrestle, but now you're just downplaying like my intelligence and just me as a person. So I feel like that's a little rude. That's a little off-putting. You definitely wouldn't want anyone to talk to you that way, whether that be someone that had been in the business just as long or a rookie. Now, with that being said, I think it's a way that JR could have delivered this message a lot better. And I think it's a way that it could have came across to the wrestlers much, much, much better. Now, in the world of social media, man, this is the times we live in. Social media, you can't really take back the things you say, because by the time you say it and put it out there to the world, somebody has it. Someone that screenshotted it. Someone that hashtagged it or saved it to their phone. They did something. They got it. So even if you tweet it and delete it, it's out there. Trust me. So Brandon Cutler, I had to actually look. I'm not gonna lie, man. I had to look Brandon Cutler up to see exactly who he was and if he should have been, kind of tweeting what he tweeted. So I'm gonna go ahead and read his, word for word, so you guys know exactly what he said. He goes out and tweets, "This Wednesday on hashtag AEW Dynamite, 7 versus 7. We're going to go outside, cluster up like coils, stand in the huddle, friends and foe together, side by side to catch some leaping idiot going over the top. Can't wait, 8 p.m. TNT. Hopefully 1 million viewers. Let's effing go." Hey, shout out to you, Cutler, but that was dumb. that was dumb. Now, not only was it dumb, but you also had other guys in the locker room not really praising you after that, man. Now, understand that you're he's from California. He's a real popular wrestler on the California scene, I assume, because when I looked at his resume, man, it seemed like he wrestled for every promotion they had over there. So I assume he's friends with, Kazarian and Daniels and guys like that. I know he was trained by Nick and Matt Jackson, so they definitely have some type of relationship there. But man, I don't know if you were in the position to kind of say what you did. I think that even if you did feel a certain type of way, the same way JR should have, been better about his delivery, you should have been better about yours also. You should have just went up to JR and been like, "Look, man, I didn't appreciate what you said. This is maybe the way we wrestle. This is our skill set. What other better way, what other criticism can you give us to help us mold and change our moveset to really get over and put ourselves over?" I think that would have been a better conversation for him and JR. But we did have Dax of FTR actually go on Twitter as well right after that, and he tweeted. He says, let me read this word for word, and I'm going to put this up on the screen so you guys can read this also. Imagine not listening to criticism from one of the men and women who shaped our profession and paved a road that allows you to make a living today, all because they hurt your feelings. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Now, hey, that hurt. That stung a little bit. That stung because one, I don't know if Dax is just playing into the role of FTR. These guys, they're not with all the flipping stuff. They're more like old school wrestlers. They're like a old school style tag team. They're not with the high flying stuff. So I don't know if Dax is just playing into his character, his role, or if he really feels like, hey, this isn't your place to say anything. If anybody, I would have let Mac and Nick Jackson or one of the Bucks say something. I'm not going to jump out there, seeing as though I'm barely get to be on Dynamite regardless. So it's like, why would I risk my my business and my livelihood just to go on Twitter and clap back at JR? You crazy? Let me tell you something. Brandon Cutler, look, it's like this. If you watch football, right? Let's say you're on the 50-yard line. You're on the 50-yard line. Okay, you're a receiver. You're a wide receiver. You're on the 50-yard line. And your quarterback throws you a bomb. Okay, it's the first quarter and you're up by 7. Your quarterback throws you a bomb on first down. And this bomb, if you catch it, it'll put you at about the 20 or the 15. It'll put you right in the red zone, okay, if you catch this bomb. Now, the quarterback kind of hands you out the drive. You got a cornerback on your hip and you got a safety running right down on you. What you gonna do? Don't catch that ball, man. Don't catch that ball. This is a business decision. You are a rookie in the NFL. Don't catch that ball. Throw your hands up there. You pull your hands down real quick so don't get your ribs. You act like you tried to catch it, but it was out your reach. Don't go up there. That's a business decision. You're up. You making this catch. Ain't gonna really make or break this game right now. And that's what I'm saying. Don't do that tweet, man. Don't fall into that trap because this isn't going to make or break your career. Now, me personally, I was excited because I wanted to see exactly what was going to happen on AEW Dynamite in this 7-on-7 match. I wanted to see if JR was really going to no-sell the move because I never paid attention to it before. If he, kind of seen someone jump over the top rope and just kind of like just blew it off and didn't really think about it or didn't say anything about it. But luckily, you do have somebody like Tony Schiavone there who's gonna, definitely pick it up when he see like a move or a hot spot. So I really wanted to pay attention and look to see, like, dang, is he gonna no sell this move? And if Brandon Cutler is the one that's doing it, is he gonna shoot some shade at him? So I'm like, yeah, it's about to get messy on AEW. I like this, ready to get messy. But AEW Dynamite comes on, and it's time for the Inner Circle to go against the Best Friends, to go against Top Flight, and to go against Varsity Blondes. Top Flight, they gonna fly. Look, the name's Top Flight. They gonna fly. But I'm like, man, this match turned into a 6-on-6. So I'm looking, and it's the funny thing, I'm trying to figure out who's missing. I'm like, maybe someone's outside the ring or they didn't get in the ring yet or something like that. Like maybe I just kind of just missed something. Nah, I didn't miss nothing. Cutler was cut from the match, and Wardlow was cut from the match. Let me not say cut from the match. Wardlow and Cutler was not in the match. I'm not going to say they was cut because I don't know exactly what happened backstage. But I would have to kind of think it has something to do with you tweeting JR. Remember, don't catch that ball, man. This is a business decision. You don't have to tweet back. Leave that up to the other veterans in that locker room. Leave that up to your Cody. Leave that up to your Young Bucks. Leave that up to your Kenny Omega, your Jericho. Let them clap back at JR if they feel the need to. Or pour JR up, on the outside and talk to him off camera. JR, the same thing, man. Talk to these young guys off camera because they're just trying to find a way. They're doing what's best for them. They're doing what's best for them, and they're doing what got them to the dance. I can't be mad at that. Now, as far as the spots outside the ring, they can be done right. They can be set up right. I don't like it when, guys are huddled up and they're just standing there just waiting for the guy to jump on them. No, that looks stupid as hell. That look dumb. I like it when the spots are done right where maybe it is 2 or 3 guys fighting outside the ring. Let's think about it. You have a 7-on-7. You can have four guys over here fighting, two guys over here fighting, and you lay someone out in the ring, and you can decide to jump on either group. It doesn't matter. You can have two and two fighting, and you can decide to jump on whatever group you want to jump on. But the fact is, I like it when it doesn't look like it's coming. Granted, as a fan, and you've been watching for a long time, yeah, you know a spot is coming when it's coming. For the most part, you know that you're gonna see a high flying spot soon. But I like it when the guys outside the ring are actually physically engaged with each other. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's two on two and four guys are brawling outside the ring. I like when they actually, engage with each other, and then someone comes jump over the top. Granted, these guys are still clustered up, but they're not looking and waiting for the spot. The spot just happens. It feels more natural. It looks more organic. And that's what I like about it. So, with that said, Brandon Cutler, man, you're not a rookie. You're not a rookie, so I wasn't calling you that. You're not a rookie in the wrestling game, that's for sure. But there's two things that I was taught when I first started training to become a professional wrestler. One, you shake everybody's hand in the building. Everybody's hand. It don't matter who they are. Two, you show the vets their respect. First two things I was taught when jumping into the business. All right. So, Cutler, man, honestly, I hope that, this didn't really hurt your stock in AEW or anything like that. Just learn from it and move on, man. Learn from it and move on. And JR, come on, man, you gotta do better. You gotta do better because these guys are looking up to you. Just your name alone and who you are in the business. What you say holds so much weight, man. I don't know if you know, but what you say holds a lot of weight, and people are listening to you, and they're listening and they're taking in exactly what you say. And I know a lot of people felt a certain type of way about you saying it on your podcast. So the message can definitely be delivered a little bit better. Now, as far as everything else on AEW, I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen with Sting. I see a lot of people saying, "Hey, I want to see Sting in the ring." No. Don't you put Sting in that ring, man. Don't you do that. Do not do that to Sting. He does not need to be wrestling anybody. All right? He's fine. I would love to see him actually kind of turn on Darby Allin and be like, hey, look, it only can be one me. It only can be one person sitting up in the rafters. It can only be one person wearing his face paint like you do, and that's me. So I would love to see him actually turn on Darby Allin because I think that would be a huge pop, especially in 2021 when fans, hopefully more fans will actually be in the building. At least more than 50% capacity. That would be pretty cool to get a big pop like that if Sting actually turned on somebody. Man, what? That'd be a pretty good pop. But I don't really know why Sting's there. But for everyone that's saying one more match, no, man, no. And look, I'm not that type of person to say, oh, I hate when they bring in old guys. No, I love it when they bring in the old guys. I love seeing Arn Anderson and Jake the Snake. And if they could still physically go, man, I would love to see him go ahead and go. When the Midnight Express came, hey, I was entertained. I don't know about y'all, but I was entertained when the Midnight Express was over there still doing their thing. And they old as hell, for sure. But I was still entertained. So I'm not one of those type of people that where, the older people come back and you're like, oh, you're too old to go. Nah. The only person I still have my little, my doubts about right now is actually Bill Goldberg. Only because he didn't really look good in his last few matches. Bill Goldberg versus The Undertaker, everyone know that turned out really bad. Bill Goldberg versus The Fiend, it wasn't really a long match. It was just a lot of spears and, jackhammer. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It didn't show me you can actually physically go and out there and do, a 20-minute match or something like that, or maybe a 15-minute match. I guess that's what you would need, where you're actually slow building and telling the story inside the ring. But other than that, man, that's the only older person I seen to come back that I was a little worried about. He still looks great. Don't get me wrong. He's in great shape. He looks really good. So I know he keeps himself up. But it's just those matches weren't the best, man. Those matches weren't the best. And I say that because, that idea of him and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is being thrown around. It's being floated around. Now, if that's the case, then that means that Bill Goldberg got to win the Royal Rumble? Nah, don't you take that spot away from another superstar that can get that pop, man. Don't you do that and let Bill Goldberg just come out there just so you can get the WrestleMania again. Worst case scenario, whoever wins the Rumble, let them just go challenge Drew McIntyre on Raw and then build it that way. But don't steal that spot from somebody. Speaking of that, Let's go ahead and jump into some WWE action, right? Let's jump into some WWE. Well, actually, it's not action at all. We're going to talk about the Slammies because the Slammies will actually be airing when? Wednesday, December the 23rd at 10 a.m. Now, I thought this was going to be on the USA platform, but from everything I'm reading, it's going to be on the WWE Network and all of their social media platforms. So I'm assuming their Instagram and maybe their YouTube page or something like that. But I think I like the Slammies. I like watching the award. I wish they did it during the show like they used to, like back in the day. I wish they did it like that still because I like the Slammies, dude. But let's go ahead and actually talk about the Slammies and some of these nominees. Some people shouldn't be out there, and some people should, and they not. So let's talk about Superstar of the Year. The list goes: Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Yeah, for those who watch a little bit of that TLC, yeah. But I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate some people right now. Flair, Lynch, Asuka, Braun, and Bray. I'm gonna eliminate you guys right now. Flair and Lynch, you guys just wasn't here most of the year. That's the only reason. Banks, you did good work, but I don't think you were gonna outbeat any of these other people. I think Bayley was the best female of the year, so that kind of gives away that vote for later on. But what she did as a heel this year, her title reign this year, come on, man, that's classic. That's classic because she pulled off that heel role and actually, man, she crushed that heel role and actually got better feud after feud, match after match, and to pretty much cap off her feud with Sasha Banks towards the end of the year, and then right now with Bianca Belair, yeah, Bayley definitely got the women's part on lock. Now, my top three, I'm gonna actually go ahead and give it to Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton. Roman, I'm gonna go ahead and have to eliminate you for the same reason. You was only here for part of the year. I understand why you wasn't here, so I'm not knocking like why you wasn't here or anything like that. But it's of the year, Superstar of the Year, not half the year. So I have to take away Roman. But what he's doing right now is absolutely amazing. This is the best I've ever seen Roman Reigns one-on-one. Away from the Shield, I should say. So leaves us with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. I'm going to go ahead and give this vote right here. Let me go ahead and click it, actually. I'm going to give this vote right here to Randy Orton for the fact that Randy Orton, since WrestleMania, has been crushing. Yes, I know Drew McIntyre won the championship at WrestleMania. I know. I seen it too. But his match with Brock Lesnar had nothing on the match with Randy Orton and Edge. Even with him beating the Big Show after the match with Brock Lesnar, it had nothing on Randy Orton and Edge, man. And that's one of the reasons I give it to Randy Orton, because he's been in a feud with Edge that was great. He's been in a feud with Drew McIntyre that was actually great. What they did in that feud where you was able to watch these guys fight 3-4 times in the whole midst of things, it was amazing because every time they fought, it got better and it just felt different. It felt more intensified. And that's hard to do, especially nowadays, trying to keep, the fans engaged with a long ongoing feud. Look at Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins. That fell off fast. You even brought your son and your whole family into it, and that still fell off quick. Man. So for these guys to actually keep the fans engaged throughout their whole thing, it was really good. So I'm gonna have to go and give it to Randy Orton, and his work right now with the Fiend is really good, man. It's classic Randy Orton. I think this actually may be, if not number one, this may be the best Randy Orton has ever looked, like a straight year. This may be the best Randy Orton has ever looked. I feel like everybody he gets in the ring with, he enhanced what they can do. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone he gets in the ring would turn it up a notch. I should say that. They turn it up a notch. Him and Drew McIntyre is the best I ever seen Drew McIntyre look in his whole career. The best I ever seen him look. That's the best feud I think he's ever been in. So I'm going to have to go and give it to Randy Orton, not for just what he does to the fuse and what he brings to the ring, but how he also enhanced and helped everybody else. Now, match of the year, we got Undertaker and AJ Styles Boneyard match. We got the New Day and the Hurt Business on Raw for the tag team championships. We got Edge and Randy Orton in the greatest match ever at Backlash. We got the Men's Royal Rumble match. We got AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. We had Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Sasha Banks, Bayley, both Hell in a Cell matches. We had AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental Championship. That ladder match, that was pretty good. We had Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Survivor Series. That was awesome. We had Becky Lynch and Asuka at Royal Rumble. Now, I'm not going to eliminate everybody, but I'm going to go ahead and just tell you the matches that I see as match of the year. Randy Orton and Edge, that's one. Both of those Hell in a Cell matches. Yeah, that's all. So Randy Orton and Edge and these Hell in a Cell matches, it's hard to pick because I'm going to go with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. It's hard to pick because each of these matches did something like for this feud, right? The feud was great in all of these matches. That's one. In the match, the story that was being told in the match, in all these matches, was a great story. And that's the reason I actually give it to Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, because I think they told the greatest story inside the ring. And I also think that you've never seen someone like Jey Uso in the light that we've seen him at in the Hell in a Cell. So his game was turned up a notch. Roman Reigns' game was turned up a notch. I feel like everyone turned it up a little bit. But it's tough because, you know what? I actually think that you know what? Nah. I'm going to give it to Sasha Banks and Bayley. Because I actually think that match was better than Jey Uso and Roman, man. It's tough. You know, I'm on the fence. It's between those two. I can argue those two back and forth all day. I like Randy Orton and Edge because of what it was, but Sasha Banks and Bayley, they turned that thing up inside that Hell in a Cell, man. And you can just still see the animosity that Banks had towards Bayley for turning her back on her. You still seeing, like, the hurt and the anger that was still inside. Like, that's hard to really show and play on someone's emotion, like, to really make you feel it while you're watching, especially when you're not even in the arena. I'm going to have to get it. One of those two would definitely get it from me, but I can go back and forth. Some days I say Bayley and Sasha was the better match, and some days I say Jey and Roman. So I'm going to leave it as one of those. Whatever I'm feeling at the time, I'll probably just click on a vote and let it go. Now, we have the rivalry of the year. Seth Rollins and Mysterio, I'm going to automatically write off because that was trash to me. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, that was pretty good. Randy Orton and Edge, you see Randy up there twice, which is why I also gave him the Superstar of the Year. Sasha Banks and Bayley, which is really cool. The Truth versus R-Truth versus the World, and Lana versus the Announce Tables. This one with me is pretty much going to come down. I think I'm going to just go ahead and give it to Sasha Banks and Bayley because of how the match. No. I'm going to give it to Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre because I feel like Drew McIntyre really upped his game as far as in-ring quality, as far as his promos. It was all good. And for the fact that they got to bring back so many older people and that Legend Killer kind of came back out of Randy Orton, the story with Randy Orton and Ric Flair on the side in the midst of the feud with Drew McIntyre, they had so many moving parts inside of their feud that I'm going to have to go ahead and give them Feud of the Year. And Randy, once again, man, he just brought the best out of whoever he was feuding with. He brought the best out of Drew McIntyre and every single part and every single aspect of being a wrestler, as far as in-ring work, promo work, segments, everything that you can think of. That was the best I've ever seen Drew McIntyre. So next year, I'm looking for that same Drew McIntyre. I want to see a lot more of that Drew McIntyre because if we're going to keep getting that from Drew, he might be somebody that can actually carry that Raw brand for a long time. So we're going to have to see. All right, Tag Team of the Year. We got the Golden Role Models. We got Nia Jax and Baszler. We got the New Day. We got the Street Profits. And we got Nakamura and Cesaro. Now, Nakamura and Cesaro, they've been able, well, Cesaro, I should say, he's been able to just mesh with almost every tag team partner they managed to put him together with. He has a long career. Like, his career is going to, like, last forever. He's going to be, like 55, still wrestling as a tag team, still being a tag team champion, because he's just able to adapt. He's able to adapt to every partner that they put him with. But you're not going to win on this list. The New Day, I like you as a trio. As a tag team, whether that's, Big E and Kofi and Woods, you're still good. You're still entertaining, but you're not quite the same. I like that trio, so for that, I'm gonna take you off the list. Nia Jax and Baszler, I'm gonna go and take these guys off the list next because they don't even really look like they mesh too well. I mean, they might be cool and cordial and like friendly, but like outside the ring, backstage or whatnot, but they don't look like they really mesh. So I'm gonna actually have to give it to the Golden Role Models. Or the Profits, man. See, I like the Profits because the Profits really up their game. They up their promo game like crazy. Right now, they are the best promos in the game. And till the Usos come back, they got it. As long as the New Day is not a trio, and we're just talking about two guys, the Street Profit got it. Like the things they've been doing, leading all the way up until the TLC match, it has been awesome. Even the promo they cut like live right before the match with the Undertaker when he was having his going away ceremony, that was fire. And you don't get that from too many teams. New Day tried it, but they still wasn't as good as the Street Profits was when they did their thing. So I'm gonna go give it to the Profits for that part. I liked what the Golden Role Models did though. They was able to win all the women's gold. That's hard to overlook. So sorry, Profits, I'm gonna take it back away from y'all. I'm gonna give it to the Golden Role Models. Yeah, I definitely gotta give it to the Golden Role Models. What they did was something that you're not gonna see done too often. So there's no way I could just overlook what they did, capturing all the women's gold. I'm gonna go and go with the Golden Role Models for the Tag Team of the Year. But New Day, Street Profits, you're a close second though. So you're right there. Return of the Year. Now this is tough. We got Edge, Roman Reigns, MVP, Bill Goldberg, and Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn, Bill Goldberg, you're already off the list. Sorry, you're not gonna make it. Roman Reigns, that was a big pop, right? Huge pop. No one was expecting that. You came back and you've been dominant. This is the best I've ever seen you. Like, this is the best Roman Reigns I've ever seen, and I don't think anyone can argue or disagree with that, right? So, okay. Edge, you came back. Huge pop. You actually had fans over at the Royal Rumble. You was in great shape, and you actually stayed for a while. But I don't know if you did enough to win the Return of the Year. Now, MVP. Surprisingly, at first, I X'd him off my list immediately. But then a lot of people reminded me that, hey, look at what MVP did and is doing and have done. He have actually revamped some careers. And I've thought about that. I'm like, you know what? Let me dig a little bit deeper into MVP and what he's done. Bobby Lashley. Before MVP, he was messed up with Lana, which was a bad situation for him. It didn't really work anyway. So he kind of saved Bobby Lashley from probably his career actually going down even further. I don't know if he would have ever been, the level he is right now if he would have stayed with Lana. I'm pretty sure they would probably put him on the shelf or just use him backstage for segments. But they got a monster on their hands and didn't know what to do with him and just paired him with Lana for no reason. I think they just wanted to put her with another big guy, seeing as though they was probably going to already part ways with Rusev. Now, Cedric Alexander, he wasn't doing anything. He was just kind of running around with Ricochet, just looking like he was trying to find his place and find a spot to really get in. It looked more like Apollo Crews was the one that was actually getting the most push out of that little trio or that group of friends right there. So what he did with Cedric Alexander, now Cedric's on TV every week, multiple times a week, whether that be a segment out at someone else's match and fighting in his own match all in one episode. So now he's getting the most TV time that he's ever gotten. And if you watch TLC, you can't be too mad. Shelton Benjamin. I don't see how you're not using Shelton Benjamin week in and week out. So MVP managed to bring Shelton Benjamin into the Hurt Business and pretty much revamp Shelton Benjamin's career. So Shelton Benjamin, yes, he's older. Fine. But he is still one of your best in-ring talents, one of your best pure wrestlers that you got on your roster. Even if you would have paired them up with Chad Gable instead of having them fight with Chad Gable, that would have been fine. I don't know if Jason Jordan is coming back anytime soon or what is actually going on with him. I haven't checked up on him in a while. But you could easily tag them up with Chad Gable and left those two guys together for a while. But with MVP, he grabbed them, put them in the Hurt Business, and now look. So I might have to give, the Return of the Year actually to MVP for the fact of look at the impact on his return for everybody else and not just himself around him. Now, the Ring Gear of the Year, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Steph Rollins, The New Day, Bianca Belair, Shinsuke, and Carmella. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give this to either Sasha Banks or Charlotte Flair because their ring gear is always fire. I actually gotta give it to Sasha Banks because she switches up stuff so much and always pays tribute to so many past wrestlers, and her ring gear is fire, man. It's fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Sasha Banks as far as that, with Charlotte being a close second. Breakout star of the year, Dominic Mysterio, not even close. Bianca Belair, Otis, nah, then we're paying out too well. Murphy, whatever. Street Profits. All right. I'm gonna have to get this to the Street Profits because they're having a hell of a year, and I think Bianca actually should be on the breakout star of the year next year because she just got to the main roster. She hasn't even been here a whole year yet, man. So you already know what type of push they plan on giving her for her to already be on the list. So I think next year is going to be Bianca Belair year. Now, female superstar of the year, I already gave that away earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Bayley because the work that she's been doing is fire. It's nice to see Charlotte Flair is back though, so that's dope. Male superstar of the year, I'm gonna go get that to Randy Orton. I think I kind of gave that away earlier as well. Now, the moment of the year, whoa, Undertaker's farewell is gonna be hard to top that. Let's be honest. Drew McIntyre defeat Brock Lesnar. Nah, I think everybody pretty much seen that coming. I think Brock pretty much wanted that belt off of him a long time ago. Becky Lynch announces her pregnancy. That was major. That was a tearjerker. That got me a little bit. But that's up there. Edge returns to the main Royal Rumble. Damn. Well, that didn't even win the return of the year, so it ain't gonna win moment of the year. The New Day farewell address on SmackDown. Yeah, that got me too. I almost dropped one for the New Day. Man, I almost dropped one for the New Day as if they're not going to bring them back together in like a year and a half or something like that. They're going to be back. We're fine. But their farewells was pretty dope. It was pretty, heartfelt. Got me right there. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman unite. Damn, that was crazy. No one seen that coming. Bayley and betrayed Sasha Banks. You kind of knew that was coming. It was hitting for that, so I was a little prepared for that. I was all good. The New Day get drafted to different brands. Same thing as the New Day split, close enough. But that's fine. I'm going to have to either go with Undertaker Final Farewell, mainly because that's the Undertaker. But Becky Lynch, Asuka sold that pregnancy more than Becky Lynch sold that pregnancy. Asuka made you like, dang, like wow, you know what I'm saying? Asuka really sold it. She really brought it home for Becky Lynch. Edge return, that was big. That was huge. That was huge. But the New Day farewell address. You know what, man? I'm gonna leave this up to the fans. Like wherever you go, you can't really be too wrong on this one. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with the farewell Undertaker at Survivor Series because we were saying goodbye to someone who have entertained us for what 30 years, man. 30 years, didn't take really too many days off. So, you have to acknowledge that. And his farewell address was pretty dope, especially with having Paul Bear there, hologram, and everything like that. That was crazy. That was really heart touching too. That was heartfelt. That whole farewell address, him and having everyone come speak on his behalf, the whole roster. You just see the type of respect that he had all around the wrestling world, man. So I'm gonna definitely go ahead and go with Undertaker farewell address. But as far as that's what we got for the Slammies, man. Remember that airs on Wednesday, December 23rd, 10 a.m. Don't miss it. You can watch it on WWE Network. Oh, I got it right here. You can watch it on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. So don't miss the Slammies. That should be a pretty good. Well, I like sermons anyway, so that should be pretty good. To me, anyway, I'm gonna definitely be tuned in. But that about does it for us for this week. This episode of Let's Talk About It, man. We did talk about some things that I really wanted to talk about, really needed to talk about. That Brandon Cutler situation, man. I hope that works out for you. I hope it didn't, hurt your career in any way. He's not a rookie. He's not a young guy like I thought he was. So I hope this is just like a bump in the road, and they could kind of, come to some type of understanding, and get over it, or agree to just, have two different mindsets or viewpoints on it. The Slammies got through the Slammies. I would love to know what you guys think and who you guys think should win these Slammies this year. You can drop that in the comment section down below. Hit me in the DM or on my page, because I'll probably post a few Wednesday. I'll definitely be posting some, so we can go back and forth about who you guys think and who I think. That's fine. That's fun. I love debating with everybody. I do it almost every day. Every time. It's like every time I say something, it's like I get a whole bunch of debates from everybody else. Like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, all right, man, forget you wrong, man. Shoot. But that about does it, though. I'll be back next week. Next week we're gonna actually probably really dive into deep with the TLC pay-per-view. I know I didn't really give you guys the type of video that I normally would with TLC, and that's because I actually have a special guest that want to come on the show with me and really break down the TLC, because they hit me like, yo, we got to talk about this. I want to come on when you talk about the TLC, and we're going to go in depth. All right. So the next Let's Talk About It episode, we're going to really dive into the TLC, and we're going to talk about some of the plans I think that's going to happen moving forward, and any news in the world of wrestling that I feel like talking about on the next episode. All right. So, been fun. It's been fun, but it's time to go. It's time to go. You know how I like to do. It's Kato. I'm signing out. Peace.